Why do biologists and mathematicians need to work together? Studying living organisms is like exploring a forest. Looking at just one tree cannot tell us everything about the forest. We need to examine how the trees interact and how the forest changes as a whole. So, what do we need to understand such a complex world of living organisms? We need biology and mathematics to work together. Biology was not always as advanced as it is today. In ancient times, much of the study of living organisms focused on observing and classifying plants and animals. Galen, a physician in ancient Rome, laid the foundation for physiology, the study of how living organisms function. He also contributed to the development of morphology, the study of their physical form and structure. Examining living organisms one by one and grouping them based on similar characteristics is like organizing books by subject in a library. Once everything is properly classified, it becomes much easier to study. What led to major advances in biology? The answer was the discovery of cells. In 1665, Robert Hooke was observing a piece of cork under a microscope when he discovered tiny structures that looked like small rooms. He called them cells. Later, Matthias Schleiden proposed that plants are made up of cells, and Theodor Schwann showed that animals are also made up of cells. Scientists had begun looking for the secrets of life, not just in the appearance of living organisms, but in their smallest units. Why do plants and animals live in such different ways? Plants can make their own nutrients, but cannot move from place to place. Animals cannot make their own nutrients, but can move freely. These differences are also reflected in the structures of their cells. The Swedish biologist Carl Linnaeus developed a system for classifying living organisms according to specific criteria and assigning them scientific names. We call humans Homo sapiens, thanks to Linnaeus's system of classification. But how can we organize an ever-growing number of species? There is a limit to how much information we can compare using our eyes alone. This is where mathematics becomes useful. Statistics can classify living organisms based on their characteristics, analyze their distribution and population sizes, and uncover patterns hidden in data. It is like putting scattered pieces of a puzzle together to complete a picture. In the 19th century, Darwin explained how natural selection helps organisms survive. Today, we know that mutations also play an important role. Evolutionary biology, which studies how populations change over long periods of time, requires the analysis of enormous amounts of data. Can we really observe all these changes with our eyes alone? Ultimately, statistics and mathematical analysis are essential. One of the greatest discoveries in the history of biology was the double helix structure of DNA. This structure is highly stable from a geometric perspective, and the bases in DNA always pair with specific partners. If we know one base, we can determine the corresponding base on the other strand. This is very similar to the one-to-one correspondence we learn about in functions. In other words, mathematics is hidden even in the blueprint of life. Biologists observe and experiment with living organisms. Mathematicians express the results using numbers, functions, and equations. These mathematical models can then be simulated on computers under a variety of conditions. This allows researchers to predict results without having to repeat every experiment in the real world. Mathematicians, in turn, also find inspiration in biology. Living organisms in nature have survived for hundreds of millions of years by developing remarkably efficient ways to adapt to their environments. The way birds fly, the way ants move, and the hexagonal structure of honeycombs all reveal remarkable principles of optimization. Mathematicians use these strategies from nature to develop new algorithms and solve difficult problems. Biology discovers the principles of life, while mathematics helps explain and predict them. The two fields may seem very different, but they become even more powerful when they work together. So perhaps the next breakthrough in our understanding of life will come from research conducted by biologists and mathematicians working together.